Good Tuesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV. Back home here in Virginia, just beautiful weather, just incredible. Really is, just awesome. Just a beautiful time of year up here in the Northeast. That's one thing about the Northeast. You kind of get the break in the weather. Unlike some parts of the country, yeah, everybody has a little break, but this Northeast area, the fall months just seem to be really nice as long as you don't have the rains come in. So the September, October is usually a pretty nice time. Yeah, enough about the weather, right? What's the weatherman? And I think that's a really good point. The weatherman. Does the weatherman actually know the future? It seems like he does, more so today than ever before. But this morning I got to think to myself, the future. And more than ever in our lifetime, it seems like the conversations are about the future. In fact, I even thought, what if I told you that in that barn, there's a DeLorean? There's a DeLorean, and Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd are inside my barn right now, and we're going to take a ride that's called Back to the Future. Yeah, anybody remember that movie? I think my dog, she thinks she's going to go get a deer. Look at her, look. She can catch no deer. Yeah, anybody remember that movie Back to the Future? Was that a great movie? Yeah, what if I told you right now, I just bought that DeLorean, and we're going to go Back to the Future. And I'm going to tell you what to do and not to do. Because that's the whole premise of the movie is that you can go back and change things for your future that you're already living in. Yeah, that's that was a really great movie. Sadly, Michael J. Fox, came down with Parkinson's disease. Apparently he and Christopher Lloyd just reunited themselves. Hard to believe that's like 37 years ago. 1985 is that movie was made. It's just a kid. Just getting going in life. Come on, Ginger! And anyways, well, there's my Back to the Future. Yeah, I have a Back to the Future problem because everything I buy and I sell, I buy it back. Yeah, that's my Back to the Future challenge. But anyways, this morning, I got to think of myself more than ever in our life. I just changed up the subject here a second, but this Charger Hellcat wide body, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna drive this thing. Have a little fun in this thing today, and man, that exhaust! I had to move cars around yesterday. So I had to unload my truck and trailer. Had to get my bikes back in the shop here, and got so many projects to do. And yeah, I smoke cigars, and we'll have a drink. I'll have a drink here and there, and that's something about Michael J. Fox. Actually, I read years ago, he thinks his Parkinson's came from heavy drinking. Apparently, he was a huge heavy drinker. I mean, bad. The guy would just get obliterated. It's incredible how many talented people destroy their own life. They have this incredible talent. Come on, Bobs. Ginger! And there she is. But no, she isn't. Ginger! And so, people end up, creating their own hardships because of their lifestyle. Yeah. So, hey, we're back to the office here. And been away. Everybody knows and follows my channel. And I think I got a window. Look at that pool. Didn't even use it this year, but like one time. Yeah, it's the Walmart pool. One day it just gets bulldozed. Easier doing that than covering up a hole, right? So yeah, anyways, here's my crew. Time. Like I say, this morning I got to think to myself, more than ever in our life, we live in the future. I mean, more than ever. Well, it's cold in here. Brr. Heat on. And so, maybe here, ramble on, right? Well, I'm not trying to ramble on. I just got to get back to the routine here and get back to work and do my thing. So the future, more than ever in our lifetime, is being driven by the media. I mean, think this through. More than ever in your lifetime, the control of the media of telling you what is going to be next is bigger than ever in my lifetime. growing up, you didn't have these devices. When I was growing up, you had a regular telephone to call somebody. You didn't have instantaneous so-called information at your hands like you do today. You didn't have instantaneous news of something just happened, 5 minutes ago, a minute ago. You didn't have any of that. And today, more than ever, the media machine and the agenda machines have figured out how to use this technology to tell you the future. But yet mankind doesn't know the future. But yet it convinces so many that we think that they convince you that you will know the future. I mean, if we could talk about this conversation for hours and days, which we don't have that time for that. I don't have time, and who's going to watch that for hours on end? A documentary of the future, right? But I just thought Back to the Future is a perfect, analogy of what I'm talking about this morning, because that was such a great movie talking about how Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd went back in time to try to change things for the future of time. And who hasn't had that? Who hasn't had a bad day or have an accident or done something you wish you could take your steps all back and do it all over again to correct the mistakes you made? Yeah, everybody's done that. And that's why that movie was so cool. And they even had a series, like a weekly series. I can't think of the damn show. Some Dennis Quaid, I think, was in it or something. They knew tomorrow's news before the news happened or something like that. I started watching my channel. I'm sure somebody would actually weigh in and clarify the name of that channel or that series. So, anyways, what I'm trying to convey to people this morning is, more than ever in our society, we are living in divisions because of the future. And just to kind of give you an example, and once again, channel's not political. I'm not going to get into it because I'm not an idiot to go sacrifice myself for a political figure, because it's just all about whoever has the money behind them that's driving the narrative. And that's all politicians. I mean, every politician has a challenge. To be elected, you have to have money. And so people have to give you money, and the people who give you money want things done for them. So, yeah, one party does things better than another party, no doubt. So we'll just give an example here. And if you go back, the media machine in this country, for me, really ratcheted things up in 2019. And it was all about the future. The media machine was telling people that if you get one person out of office and put a different person in office, the future will be better. The media machine was telling people that if you get rid of police, then things will be better. This is very concerning for anybody watching my channel. We more than ever need to share with one another that the danger of the media machine is it creates a future, and it gets people to get mad and gets people to divide one another, because the media is telling you things that they think they know how things play out. But it doesn't work. It never works. They're so wrong. But the media never talks about that. You do not hear any of these reporters running around that were just lambasting, defund the police, how bad the police are. We're all the people that were just going off, and all the BLM doing protests, kill the police, kill the pigs in DC. Where are all these people that were telling everybody if we had less police, things would be better? And once again, I'm not going to go political. This is not a political channel. This is a car channel that, sadly, more than ever in our lifetime, is part of the future of the agendas of governing bodies more than ever that are controlling our future, because they think they know the future. And I use these stories because you can use these stories, and I'm telling you, to relate with things to better understand what the governing bodies are doing right now with the cars and the green agenda. And so I used the BLM as an example. I used the police as an example because we're witnessing right now more than ever the black community is being destroyed in inner cities. Chicago, how many people die every weekend? The inner cities is bad. And sadly, it's the black community that's getting destroyed. Yes. The media doesn't want to talk about that because the media wants to play the race card in our country, which for me is unfortunate, but that's the narrative, and that's what starts to draw the divisions, and that's when one candidate portrays therefore helping that. But in the end, did they really help? If you step back and look in 2019 going to 2020, a virus was in the world. And one city administration actually acknowledged it. Another administration that wasn't in power laughed at the acknowledgement. Yeah, does anyone remember Pelosi dancing in the streets in Chinatown when the virus supposedly was here? And once again, not a political channel. I'm trying to relate to anybody here watch my channel. If everybody just steps back on what you were being told just 2-3 years ago of what has happened in our country in just the last 2-3 years, I'm trying to radiate to you where the media machine was just on a full-blown telling you how the future would be. And the message was that the previous administration was just a bad administration, and there's a better administration to be put in place of it. And the policies that would come with that new administration would make the country better. It would make the country more appeasing, friendlier, nicer, more forgiving, more understanding. Okay, all right. Yeah, well, if we all kind of now say, well, back in 2019, 2020, when the virus came in, does everybody remember how the media was telling everybody you're going to die? You're going to die, you're going to die. And I'm not by any means taking that virus lightly. All my family got it. I've had it twice. My daughter's had it twice. Wife never gets it. The wife never gets it. She's that type O blood type, which there's a whole nother, variable of what's that all about, that the blood O types don't seem to get it. It came from the Wuhan, or whatever China lab. That's an argument. It's an argument because the media machine convinced so many that they knew the future, to the point that the media machine 24/7 told you you're going to die if you don't stay home. You're going to die if you don't get the vaccine. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on about how the media machine ratcheted up what they thought they knew what the future is. But as we're witnessing more than ever right now, that message being you had the lowest interest rates ever, now is a great time to buy a house. Even though the houses are at one of the highest we've seen in modern times, people are paying incredible amounts of money for houses, but you're being told as an individual through the media machine that now is the time to buy the house because it's the lowest interest rates ever. Well, all right, well, that's great. But if the lowest interest rates don't stay around forever, then how is that really great price in an expensive home really play out for you? And right now, anybody watching my YouTube channel, I'll be amazed. There's somebody that's trying to sell their house right now, and the predicament is now that the house is priced too much for the interest rate. Yeah, I hear these stories. But the media machine was telling you, hey, for the future, you should buy a house today. And that drove everybody to the real estate market to be buying houses, which drove the supply and demand challenges, which, drove the pricing of houses through the roof. Cars, same thing. I preached it, over a year ago. Don't buy a car. Yeah, right. Yeah, you hypocrite. But hey, you be so lucky to get a car. You got to buy a car now. And what's now starting to play out in that market where people have paid a lot of money for used cars, that are those values going to sustain themselves? Well, right now, it looks like they're not. So a lot of people are going to be underwater, not only maybe in their house, but in their car. But here's the thing. The media machine is telling everybody the future. And the media machine, just a few years ago, was telling everybody how much better it's going to be. It's going to be better. It's going to be greater. I mean, what's interesting is the former administration was Make America Great Again. So that was kind of like go back to the future. And then this administration is build back better. And yeah, I think we're all kind of scratching our heads on that. Right. So you go to student loans. You're told as an individual, as you're growing up in school, that your future will be better if you go to college. And if you take that loan, that'll enable you to become a better person. And so, but yet now there's so many people harboring that they feel like they got ripped off on their student loans and don't want to pay them back. The future. We're living now in more than ever before in this country, the green agenda telling us they know how the future is going to be better for us if we sacrifice this and that, and we pay more for this and that, and the cars have to be electric versus gas because it's going to be a better future because of how we're changing things of how we have transportation. And so in that scenario, we haven't had enough time to pass to prove that, which I don't think you ever will. It's just like the change of administrations. We were told that by defunding the police, the inner cities would have social police that would resolve the problems much better, and it wouldn't be the killing, and the police wouldn't be killing people because the police target people and they kill people. Yeah, and they typically kill, what the media said is a higher percentage of somebody the opposite color of me, which they've done research on that, and that's not correct. Yeah, a lot of me get killed too. But the whole point is, we're seeing now in a quick time frame of the media telling us the future, the future, the future, and we're already witnessing that by having less police on the streets, there's more crime. So we already know that future presentation a few years back is false. We now know that the BLM that present themselves as wanting the better for the black community has now been disclosed as borderline a scam. All the big leaders, you can't even figure out who the leaders are. I mean, it's very confusing. Where'd all the money go? Yeah, you've seen now that there's select individuals that enrich themselves with all that money. So for us, a lot of people would argue at BLM and blah, blah, blah. But where are they? Where are they now talking about, well, their plan didn't work out as great as it was supposed to? Right. Where are all the politicians? We already hear it. The politicians are back talking now about, maybe we should put more police in the streets. Yeah, they were telling everybody the police are the worst. They kill people. They don't like people. We need to get rid of them. Yeah. Does anybody remember these? Does anybody remember if you're a police officer that you were borderline hiding from society because the media was telling everybody that you're a piece of crap? Yeah, that was huge. I witnessed state troopers move out of these areas where they left because they didn't want to be targeted because the media was targeting them that you're a piece of crap if you're an LEO. Yeah, right. So you can go through a list of all the things that we were being told on the future, that you as an individual sit there and listen to the media machine and it presents to you that we're going to tell you how the future plays out. And what it does, it creates a major division between us and the country because one portion is saying it's just common sense. You don't know the future. But the other side is saying, oh, yes, we're being told the future, so I believe the future. I mean, the pandemic lockdown, that was just, you split the country in half or more. The vaccines have created huge divisions in the country. Wearing masks has created huge divisions because you had the so-called experts telling everybody they know the future and how it plays out if you don't do this and do that. And so for us as the Ice Age, that's why I call my channel Ice Age, Internal Combustion Engine Age, it's appropriately named because the Green Agenda wants us to become the Ice Age, like the dinosaurs. And that's what's so aggravating is more than ever in our lifetime, the media machine is feeding people information that isn't factual, and it's more of an agenda trying to create the divisions of people that think that the Ice Age people are bad to the world. Look at Russia. Right now, this is incredible to me. Look at Russia. What is Russia? The Vladimir Putin punt him out of freaking that country, out of this physical world. This guy's living in the future. This guy thinks that by what he does creates a future to entail him to be the more prosperous and controlling person of Russia. How is that all playing out? To even the point that I've said it many times. Why didn't the world powers go line up against Ukraine's border, against Russia, and tell him to go home? But you were told the future. The world leaders didn't want to be involved in that. Well, yeah, for the most part, all the world leaders now are involved in the Russia-Ukraine fiasco because it's creating inflation through the roof throughout the world economies. Yeah, does anybody remember that conversation about the economy is going to be better off than it already is, and then the pandemic created the handout of money because the governing bodies felt like the future would be better for people if you give them money to get through these hardships and hard times created by the governing bodies. The governing bodies created the pandemic, meaning they created how things were allowed and weren't allowed, and all the financial hardships they put on people. Then they hand everybody else money out. But now for the future, how is that all playing out? We're seeing right in front of our eyes today. In 2022, the stock market's going down the toilet. It's going to crash. The home values are going down the toilet. It's going to crash. Car values are going down the toilet. They're going to crash. People are getting ready to be laid off. So they're going to crash. So the future, just in the last, from 2019 to 2022, we've seen government bodies tell us how the future is going to play out. But it's totally opposite of what they told us the future would give us. But yet here we are today still arguing about the future of the green agenda, right? I mean, more than ever, I'm reading about the airlines are getting targeted. The next movement is the airlines, which I don't disagree. Yeah, a jet, that thing burns. How many lifetimes of people would be driving their cars in one jet from here to California? How much carbon footprint that I will contribute to this world versus the jet taking one ride in one day that did that many times over for me in my own world. So the message this morning is the future is we are living in the most dangerous times in our livelihood in modern times that more than ever the media machine has figured out how to manipulate people's feelings and views through telling us about the future. But the media machine never wants to back up and start talking about all the things that they told us 2-3 years ago and how things would play out. And the governing bodies, they don't want to talk about this. I mean, think about the children. Think about the kids that sat home and did nothing and got taking back their learning skills. I mean, does anybody remember this? It's right now being proven that pandemic truly did incredible educational harm to so many people. And once again, it's the inner city kids where the parents had to go to work. What people forget about, a lot of blue collar people, they had to go to work. Okay? For the middle and upper middle class people that had these white collar jobs, they got to sit home and babysit their kid and homeschool their kid if they chose and monitor them because they have the upper hand in an income and a job that allowed them to remotely work from their house. The guy that does the garbage run can't remotely work from his home picking up garbage. So you can go through the list of the manual labor people in this world that their lives were borderline and families went through incredibly challenging times because they weren't able to be home with their kids all day. They had to go to work. Think about all the Costco employees, the Home Depot employees, the Lowe's employees, the big store, food employees. The list goes on and on and on. These people have to go to work. It still befuddles me that every freaking person I know that worked at Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco, and the list goes on and on and on and on. None of them died from the pandemic. Yeah, and everybody forgets the pandemic was around for over close to a good year. Yeah, it was around basically a year before the vaccine started coming out. So I had so many people I know personally that worked with thousands of people a day. Thousands of people a day. You know how many people coming out of a Costco store on a good day? And then all the health food workers at Chick-fil-A and McDonald's and all these takeout places? They should have all died by the media's presentation. They should all be dead because they were exposed to so many people all day long. The whole idea of the pandemic was you go hide in your basement and you won't get sick. Yeah, how'd that all play out? Yeah, how'd that nursing home play out? Where all the people in a nursing home and they send all the COVID people in the nursing home. How'd that play out, right? Yeah, we know the future. So For me, I could go on and on and on and on, which I'm not. I just really thought to myself, more than ever, in today's society, we are living in the future more than ever before. And the media machine's driving it to try to convince you that they know how the future plays out. But they don't. In fact, they usually predict totally the opposite of how the future plays out. Is anybody married here watching my channel? Have you ever started preaching to your wife and telling her how it's all going to play out? I mean, any married man here that's on my channel, I'd love to hear sort of make a comment. Oh, yeah. Yeah, now I've been married for 30 years, and I figured that out about 10 years in my marriage, preaching to the wife. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful, honey. Just for me as an individual, I have witnessed my personal friends and family that have the future. They predict the future, how it's going to play out, and I'm no different. I'm not somebody's, like, oh yeah, I know the future and everything's perfect on my end. By no means it's not. I got myself into a lot of financial trouble and hardships back in 2007 and 8 because I thought I knew the future of going a different direction in my life to run a different business and operate a different business, never knowing the crash economy is right around the corner. Yeah, that was a huge, I know the future to make things better became the future that made things worse, the worst ever in my lifetime. Yeah, did I prevail? Of course I prevailed. I don't quit. That's what I tell people all the time. Just don't quit. That's the key to success in life. Just don't quit. Just keep on going. You'll be all right. Just stay focused on what you want. Focus on what you want. And that's how life is. Whatever you focus on expands, good or bad. That's just a known fact. But what is the whole country focused on right now? It's focused on the bad. All you're reading and hearing every day is all the negative news of everything going south. Wow. It'd just be unbelievable. And that's what people are being brainwashed to think every day now is everything's going to be worse. The Future, right? Back to the Future. Great movie. Anybody watch that? I know everybody watch my channel, including myself. It'd be always so cool to go back to the future. But you think to yourself, too, that, but then that one variable changes many variables. And that's why I say the power of prayer. The miracle prayer, that's to say that prayer. What I just explained to you in so many words is the power of prayer, and pray for a miracle. Pray for a miracle, because that's what I relate with on that message is you don't know the future. You try to create the future, but it never works out. And that's what the governing bodies today, more than ever, look at the illegal immigration. It just really maddens me as an individual that someone will call me out that I don't love people because I'm against illegal immigration. Because the response on person will be is, well, these are people running from their governing bodies that are being slaughtered and not taken care of, and they come here to escape that. Okay, I understand that. It's a bad situation. But have you ever heard of legal immigration? You ever heard of governing bodies of other countries have to come to the table with our country and start taking care of their people? Or we need to go talk to them personally, and maybe we need to take our governing bodies to get involved in their governing bodies to share with them how you take care of a society and to get rid of the lawless society. Remember now, the future, the whole conversation here a few years ago was the lawless cities are better for people. Lawless immigration laws are better for the country. This is what you're being told. You're being told that you're a bad person today if you say to somebody, I don't support illegal immigration. I don't support that. You're being told that you're mean to society. You're mean to mankind. No, I'm not. You can come to our country. Anybody can come here. You just have to go through the legal process. And for Venezuela, Nicaragua, South America, the list goes on and on of all these governing countries that don't want to take care of their people. We have to go have a conversation with them because they're sending their problems to us to resolve their problems. That's not right. If you think it through, if you're a business owner and you can make a ton of money off the people working for you, and you can thin out half the people who work for you, and you can quadruple your profits and monies, you're a happy person. Well, that's how governing bodies operate in these other countries. If they can thin out all these people that don't contribute to the system, they have a healthier government because they have all these people leaving their system to go live off of somebody else's system. It's a no-brainer. That's what's going on. These governing bodies don't want to have to give back to the people. The governing bodies want to enrich themselves. Hello, where's these conversations? They're not in our media. They don't teach anything. When you watch the news, you don't learn much. You're told a lot of things, but it's an agenda-based media machine telling you things to accomplish an agenda driven by select few that have a grand master plan that in the end isn't about you. All right, everybody. I appreciate you watching my channel. It is a car channel. If you see me, come on. Can anybody claim that they've bought like 25 vehicles since January of this year? I mean, come on. I mean, I know I've kind of gotten off side course here where I have my morning conversations. But for me, my YouTube channel is all about my passion and love for vehicles, which I see our governing bodies tell us how the future is, that's trying to take away the passion of the Ice Age, which is just beyond ridiculous. But everybody's caught up in the momentum of, the EV. Oh, yeah, I got a email that my F-150 Lightning is being built November 7th. Yeah, and what do I do with that, right? Yeah, once I get it, what do I do with that? Yeah, well, that'll be another adventure. I don't think I'll probably see it till end of November, maybe December. So that'll be interesting. If you're not towing with that vehicle, I don't know. The guy that works for me is driving that F-150 Lightning. I bought that black one. He thinks, even though the range is supposed to be a 330-mile truck, he thinks it's a 250-mile truck overall, which that's kind of disappointing. But at the same time, I don't know. But he's liking the vehicle. He kind of, picks and chooses, but overall, he thinks it's a great vehicle. All right, gonna wrap it up here. Go to work. Got a lot going on. I'm slammed. I am busy as all get out. I know some people think I'm not busy, but yes, you don't get to where I am in life by sitting around. And if anybody thinks you do, then you're just watching too many soap operas and too many movies. So I gotta go jump in the car and get that DeLorean fired up so I can go take a ride. Yeah, I'm taking the ride, and I can share that Back to the Future story for you the next time. Everybody have a great day, and thanks again for all the support, and hit subscribe, share the channel. Hopefully my information helps you become a better person. Hopefully you can look at things differently. Hopefully you can reach out to me and say, yeah, but you didn't think about this, and I love that. So once again, I love all the nice comments. Everybody have a great, safe day, and stay tuned for more adventures. Back to the Future. Yeah, what am I doing?